Aloha, everyone. Hey, it's Savvy. Welcome to the Caring Caregiver Show. I'm your host and, of course, the founder of Give Me a Break, which is a nonprofit organization that's caring for caregivers. We're here to bring back the joy of caregiving, and each week we help caregivers to survive. So you can check out our website, which is gab808.org for more information. And, I know you're tired and I know you're exhausted. And just so you know, there is a community here for you. And you can check it all out on our website. We do offer you a break every week. Like I said, we're here for you every week. And that's our support session. So in our support sessions, you can just come in. It's just a community of caregivers just like you. Wait, I like this one better. I always have to change this, right? There we go. And it's just a community just like you, caregivers just like you guys, and we understand, we get it. We're not a bunch of professionals. We're not trying to get into your head. We're just offering you support. And that's why I don't call it a support group. It's really a session because there's also some education in every single one. Last week, just yesterday, last night, we talked about, we're still doing our pause sessions. And so we're doing the second part of pause, which is an acronym for knowing when to take one. And yesterday, the U stood for understanding. And so it was really all about understanding yourself. And that helps you to understand the one you're caring for. But it's a great session. We're going to review it again. So if you haven't come on to our support sessions, get on. Super easy to do. It's just a Zoom. All you have to do is dial our phone number, which is 808-754-3787, and come on. So it's 8 o'clock. And I'm sorry, I have the wrong graphic up. So it's 8 o'clock Tuesday evenings, not Saturdays anymore. I'd like to start the Saturdays again, but it's Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. Just come in for a session with a bunch of caregivers just like you, and we're here for you. It's really about connecting community. That's what we need. We just need to be connected, and you get so isolated and alone when you're caregiving, and you're not. So you have a whole community out there. So the Care and Caregiver Show also is sponsored by, and you all know this by now, there it is right there, by Givers Guides. Givers Guides is a caregiving guide. It's a caregiver's guides to caregiving. And it's written exclusively for caregivers by caregivers from a caregiver's point of view. So we not only have resources in the magazine, but we've got articles written by caregivers. And it's just an awesome way to keep in touch in between. Just get your subscription. Go to giversguides.com. It's $24.99 for a full year. You get a magazine a month, and it's online. So you can take it with you anywhere you go. You can read it and look at it and view it on your phone, on your iPad, on your PC, anywhere you want. Once you have the link, you can check it out anytime. You don't have to lug a magazine around with you everywhere you go, and you save the environment. So it's our way of going green as well. So giversguides.com, and remember, all profits go to Give Me a Break. All right, really quick, important announcement before I forget. The Keys, Bags, Names, Words film screening that we're sponsoring as well, that we're doing along with the Hawaii Family Caregiver Coalition and the Alzheimer's Association, has 3 showings. Oh, wait, I have a graphic for that. Where is that? There it is, right here. Let me put it up. Add to stage, and it went. Yay. So it's coming up. We just had our first one this past Saturday. The film is amazing, by the way, gang. It's called Keys, Bags, Names, and Words, because when you're dealing with someone with dementia, Alzheimer diseases, any memory disease, this is the order of how they forget. First, you forget your keys. Then you forget your bags. And you start forgetting names. And finally, you forget the words. And it's just a really touching, kind of quirky sharing of caregiver stories and what they're going through. It's a great film. But the big announcement is that the Kaneohe, and I apologize to all my caregivers in Kaneohe. I know I sent you guys all an email letting you know that it has been canceled. And so the Kaneohe showing, the venue has canceled. So we are continuing. We will be having the Kapolei screening. So on the 28th of October, you can attend the screening in Kapolei, and that's on October 28th. and it'll be from 2:30 to 4. So please check your calendars, make arrangements, get somebody to cover for you, or bring your carry along and watch this really important film. And know that you can't see it in Kaneohe on the 17th. You can see it in Kapolei on the 28th. So I hope you attend. I hope you get to see it. And we are looking at possibly doing an online screening for caregivers as well, because we know how hard it is for you all to get out. So I hope that works out, and you'll know more about that in November. So stay tuned. Okay, and what else? Oh, the caregiving contest, the Caregiver of the Year contest is on. It's on, you guys. You can enter anytime. Just go to gab808.org and enter. You can definitely be part of this. Why do you want to be part of this? Well, one is the first 50 contestants receive a thanks caregiving dinner delivered if you're here on Oahu for you and your caree. So that's an awesome thing. I'll talk more about that later in the show. And also, you get an opportunity to help us create awareness. Caregiver stories are not being heard. Caregiver stories need to be heard. We're advocating for caregiver rights, caregiver pay, for so many things, and we need your help to get those caregiver stories out there. So please share your story, register, be part of it. The contest isn't about winning. I'll tell you what the win is. The win is that we as caregivers are recognized and get the benefits, the rights, and all the things that we deserve and need as family caregivers, as caregivers in the workplace, and that we get recognized. So please join our mission. Be part of it. Be part of something really important. I know there's 156,000 caregivers alone here in the state of Hawaii. If just part of you join this contest, we become a very loud voice. So be part of something really important and share your story, because another caregiver out there needs to hear that they're not alone. And that alone is a great reason to do it. So today, getting through a lot today, just before we even start. All right, today's October 11th. And we've got a lot going on today. We're going to coach you. We're going to declutter you, not just your house, but your brain, your soul, your mind. And we're going to demystify cannabis. So I'm really excited about this. That's right. You heard me. I'm putting it out there. I'm not afraid to put it out there. I'm happy to put it out there. It's legal in the state of Hawaii, and we need to know how we can get the most benefit. We need to know this. All right, so let's get right to going. Let's get going. I'm stuttering with what are we going to do in our beginning of our show this season that I'm so excited is Audrey's Mindful Moments. So let's bring in Audrey. Where are you, Audrey? Audrey is a yoga and meditation instructor based on the island of Hawaii. Aloha, Audrey, and welcome.
Aloha, aloha.
How are you? Oh, I have to change this again. There you are.
Here I am. Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
I'm so happy you're here too. I look forward to this moment. So with that, I am going to give you the floor. So please take it away, Audrey, and Audrey's Mindful Moments.
Mahalo nui, Savi. Thank you. I am taking it away. So the first thing I would like you, my darling caregivers, to do today is to stand up. Just stand up wherever you are. I'm going to stand up with you. If you can only hear me, know that I'm doing it. And then give it all a shake. So shake your body. So little jumps on the spot. Let the arms just flail. Maybe a little wiggle of the shoulders and the hips and the head. And then big inhale and exhale. Okay. And you can do that at any time throughout your day, whenever it feels like everything's coming at you and you just can't handle that next second. Shake it off. Shake it off. Animals do it all the time. I'm sure you've seen your dog, your cat, shake it off. So a little tip, a little reminder, shake it off. Taylor Swift was right. The next thing I'm doing with you today is some breathing. So now that you've shaken the rubbish off, I want you to find a nice, quiet if you can, but quiet-ish is going to be enough space wherever you are. Preferably try find a chair or a couch to sit on so that you can have your feet flat on the floor. Take off the shoes, take off the slippers, have the sole of your feet touch the floor. Hands wherever you like them. I love to place my hands on my heart center so that I can feel my heart beating. Always reminds me, that I am here, that I am alive, and my heart beats right here in my chest without me having to think about it. If you would rather have your hands on your lap, that's okay too. And breathing today, we're going to do a breathing exercise. I call that box breathing, and I will talk you through it and count through it. So as you inhale, you're going to inhale on a count of 4. I'm going to go not too slow so that you're not holding your breath for too long. When we get to 4, we're going to hold the breath for a count of 4, and then we will exhale for a count of 4 and hold the breath for another count of 4. So it's 4 in, 4 hold, 4 out, 4 hold, which makes a box, right? Imaginary breathing box. So here we go. Feet grounded on the floor. We're going to take maybe 2-3 minutes to do this. You have 2 minutes. You get to take 2 minutes just for you in your day. When you're ready, nice long spine. You're inhaling through the nose. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale through the nose, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so you've got the rhythm, you've got the idea of how this works. Catch your breath. If holding your breath is not comfortable, you're going to count inhale 4, exhale 4, inhale 4, exhale 4, so that we can still breathe together. Those of you who can hold the breath, we're doing the box thing. Okay, so here we go. Close the eyes and we start. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Keep going. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. And again, inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. One more. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. And hold, 2, 3, 4. Nice. Big inhale, no counting. Big exhale through the mouth. Make the sound, sigh it out. We'll do that again. Inhale, you're filling up the belly, you're filling up the ribs, you're filling up the chest. And exhale through the mouth, big sigh. 1 or 2 more like that. And exhale. And on your last one, which we'll do together, just a little visualization as you inhale. Visualize, imagine ease in your life. Imagine that solution you're looking for coming to you with the inhale. And on the exhale, you're releasing whatever it is that's troubling you today. Maybe it's one thing, maybe it's a long thing, maybe it's a lots of things. So pick one thing, exhale. So we'll do that together. As you inhale, filling yourself up, every cell, with all the good stuff, the solutions, the miracles, the love. And exhale, release all that rubbish. Release the stress. Imagine that leaving your body. Thank you for breathing or shaking and breathing with me today. Remember, when you are anxious, when you are stressed, when you are scared, the first thing that happens in your body is your breath is affected. So as soon as you think, I'm stressed, I cannot take this one more second, I don't know what to do, what's my next step? Pause, close the eyes, take a big breath. Your breath is your most important nervous system regulating tool. Thank you for what you do. You matter. And thank you so much for having me today again.
You're just amazing. Thank you for sharing your kind soul. And caregivers, I hope you benefit from that. We look forward to next week. I can't wait. I'm like, I anticipate every time. What's she going to do today? So thank you so much. And thank you for your time and for your love. Again, Audrey, Alice, you can contact her at 808-936-9142. And if you're on the Hawaii Island, please contact her. You guys need to get together and talk to her on the phone and just breathe. So thank you so much for sharing. Thank you, Audrey.
Thank
Aloha.
you so much for having me. Aloha.
Wow, so great. Just an amazing moment that you can have. And that doesn't take long at all. Really, caregivers, the moments are for you and you matter. You are the most important person in a caregiving equation and you deserve it and you're worthy. So know that. Whew, I'm still breathing. I'm so relaxed. But you know, in a caregiving world, it gets crazy. You're in chaos. You rarely have time, gosh, to bathe, to sleep, let alone try to keep everything clean or organized or even take care of you as a person. We're so focused on somebody else that we sometimes even let ourselves go. And you know, today's next guest is a true inspiration. You know, she lost 130 pounds, gang, and then didn't stop there. She continued on to become Ms. Premier Universe for 2023 and 2024. And I want to welcome today, Becky Sampson, a life coach and a declutter specialist, and not just decluttering your area because she's done that, but also you could declutter your soul, your mind, and your body. And so welcome. It's such an honor to have you here, Becky. Hi.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Savvy, for having me. And thank you to Audrey for that beautiful moment of just grounding. Because that, I mean, as a life coach and just as a person, right, we all need, I buried myself in the sand this morning because I go to the ocean every morning, and I buried myself this morning just to ground. So thank you for a second grounding today.
I love that. No, but I love that. That's a great idea too. Nobody thinks to just kind of cover yourself with the sand, that weight and the warmth. That's so healing. What a great thing. And you know, we did it as children, right?
Yeah.
But we don't.
Yeah, you know, it's funny that comes to my mind is that a book that one of my books starts off, right? When did we lose who we were as children? Like, when did we stop playing? When did we stop actually being kids and feeling free and feeling joyful? Like, I just brought up a conversation about that, like feeling joy. We're supposed to feel joy.
Yes. Yeah, I remember this is an old when back in the days when Ellen did stand up, I think, and one of the things she talked about was how she wanted to get a game of tag going.
Yeah.
And she would say, I just want to walk up to somebody in the street and go, "You're it," not it, and just run. And so she encouraged everyone to start doing that. And I thought, it's true. If we were children, we would do that, but as adults, we forget. And I think it's so important, especially in the life of a caregiver, that we not lose our playfulness and our opportunities to be happy. And so I love that. But of course, as I ask every guest that comes on, I want you to just share if you have a caregiving story, or one, or at least a story of your journey.
Yeah, the one that came to my mind that you and I spoke about before is I still have an amazing grandmother that when she was 96 years young, as I say, she came to live with my mom and I. And my mom specifically got a home that she knew she would need to be able to take care of her. And so she had a master bedroom, and had a large bedroom that she lived in and stuff. But she came and stayed with us for 2.5 years. But slowly, as you guys know, as being a caregiver, right, it really starts wearing on you. I mean, you actually end up, I saw my mom starting to age quicker because of the stress that came on. And even though, my life is pretty entertaining, my dating life, I'd always bring every date that I was going on with, into the master bedroom, and my grandmother was laying in bed and she'd always meet them. And she's like, oh my goodness, I don't have all my makeup. It's just so cute. And, but we, even though we had fun times and we would do different things together, but it was really hard on my mom. And it came to the point where I could see that it was affecting her on such a deep level that I said, Mom, we've got to make a decision. And I would sit with my grandmother all the time and say, look, the afterlife is really not that bad. Like when are you going to, transition? Because I could see we got to make a decision here, which I think a lot of people can relate to. I mean, you don't know how much longer they're going to be. However, your caregiver is starting to lose it.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I saw with my mom. And my grandmother had lived a full life and was amazing and still had her mind about her. And then I said to her, look, Grandma, when you're on the other side, you can help me dating. You can bring good guys. I mean, I was doing everything I could to kind of like, let's go. Anyway, it got to the point where we ended up having to put her into a retirement home. And that was a really difficult time, as I think a lot of people can relate to. And it was the first time she had been out of the house in 2.5 years. It was just, she cried, she was scared, she was everything. But long story short, 3.5 weeks later, she passed away. And we were relieved, we were grateful that we felt, and we also didn't feel the remorse for putting her in a retirement home, because it was at whose expense, right? My mom needed to do that. But where my story kind of comes in with this is how I became the caregiver of my mother, in a sense that I said, Mom, we have got to go. She still has a 5,000 square foot home. She really was the only one living there, and me. And I said, we've got to go through your home and declutter, because we got to, first of all, keep you busy, because obviously that's a tough time of grieving and your whole life has changed. I mean, you don't have to wake up every morning and get people to babysit, so to speak, all of that. So I knew that was something that she needed. And so, yeah, we spent the next 3.5 weeks, 8 hours a day, literally from 8 o'clock in the morning till 5 in the afternoon. I mean, I wore her out. However, it was such a healing experience, because I started formulating this way of going through closets, drawers, like the hall closet, the bathrooms, the kitchen.
Right.
And then I ended up starting to help people all over the place. I mean, it kind of ended up turning into this big thing. But the reality of it is that what came to me with my mom, as I said to her, my mom was like, Becky, this is an empty drawer, an empty closet, and we need to fill it. I said, no. God lives in empty spaces. And sometimes even as caregivers, I saw that my mom didn't have any space. She didn't allow any space for herself. And so it was uncomfortable at first for her to have those empty spaces, but those empty spaces allowed her to breathe.
I love that. I think, I think I'm just taking that in right now and thinking to myself, I'm very declutter minded, and I'm very sort of zen in my living. And I think that I never thought of those spaces as an empty space for me.
Yeah.
An empty space where I can find comfort, and that you don't have to fill a space to find comfort, but an empty space provides you with a safe space. I just love that, Becky. That's awesome.
That's the thing is that those empty spaces, if you're feeling overwhelmed, I guarantee it's because you don't have any empty spaces. Because even if you take just, if you want to just start in the kitchen, or actually kitchen's a little bit difficult, because I'm starting to go through my stuff, but if you even want to start with your, bathroom, take every single thing out
Yeah.
Right. And you have to, and I teach this whole 4-step process, which is you take everything out, then you go back and clean it like it's a brand new space. And then you go back and sort everything, right? When you're sorting through it, then you decide what's going to go back and what's going to be discarded, or I don't ever say throw away. We release that energy, because every single thing that's in your space has energy. And, you know, I take a lot of the stuff that I teach also from, what's the gal that does the find joy in everything? I forgot her name. Marie Kondo, right? Everything in your space needs to create joy. So when you open up your closet, and what the clothes that you put on, does it make you feel joyful? Same thing with your caregiver. We literally are in survival mode all the time, that we forget, like, you're supposed to be joyful.
Yeah.
And you can't give what you don't have.
Yeah. Yep.
So you're empty.
Yeah. And, you know, I love that you have a caregiving story too. A lot of times our caregivers feel like they have to have been the sole caregiver to share their story, but that's not true. You know, sharing the duty, being part of a family that caregives part-time, full-time, sometime, it doesn't matter. You're still experiencing all the things that a caregiver experiences, you know, that same emotion when you have to place someone and realize that you no longer give them the level of care they need. That same emotion still lives in you, you know. And I think that that's something that I find too about decluttering physically, is that you're also needing to declutter mentally, right?
And digitally too. That's another thing that we get overwhelmed with. And so that's what's interesting, is this process kind of spurred all these people coming to me to help them declutter. And I realized if I could help them declutter their spaces, I declutter their mind, their spirit, their soul. And it was so amazing to see I mean, we have fun doing it. So I do these things called clean-a-thons, which I'm actually going to do I decided I'm going to do in a couple of weeks, because I need to do it for myself again. But there's just, when I create that space gets filled with peace.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I'm overwhelmed and that I can't handle life. Life is handling me. You got to take the bull by the horns, as my dad always used to say, right? And when you get kicked off and taking it this is another thing people always come to me for, weight loss, and go, how did you do it? And how have you maintained it for 14 years? I literally do it one day at a time. Because even as a caregiver, I can imagine we worry about what's going to happen. When are they going to die? What's going to happen when they die? Then I have to deal with that's what I'm dealing with my mother right now. And one of the reasons why I wanted to declutter her home is because I want to deal with it now. I don't want to deal with it after she's gone.
Right. Which is what I had to do. Right. Yeah.
And it's so stressful for people to think, what am I going to do? How am I going to get through the next day? Well, just for today, what's the little steps that you can do today to take care of yourself and take care of what might be in the future? And maybe that is just taking a breath, or maybe that is, sitting with somebody and having a story time, and, and recording that, turning on your phone and recording what they have to say. And maybe it's like, hey, I got to go for a drive. Something, just what can you do today? Don't worry about tomorrow, the next day, and next day, and next year.
Yeah. Tell me more about what you said you want to do in a couple of weeks. If it's something that's involving, I think caregivers might want to join in. So please.
Absolutely. I'm actually doing it for free. I'm going to do it for free to the community. So if people want to do it, it's literally, I do a clean-a-thon. It's 6 hours. I know that
clean-a-thon, you guys. I love that.
Declutter-thon, right? That's what we should call it. So I help people declutter and organize any space. And so when they jump on, it's a 6-hour clean-a-thon. However, I do it on Saturday, and 6 hours goes way faster than you think. Way faster. I used to do 8 hours, but 6 hours, we do a little break in the middle, but it's every hour accountability, and we do it through Zoom. So you can do it anywhere in the world. So I don't have that. I'm working on the landing page right now, but if you go to beckysampson.com, you'll see it on there.
Yeah. And so it's beckysampson.com. And also you can call her at 808-464-7311. For those of you who are listening in podcast later, that's 808-464-7311. Becky Sampson. And, I think that's a great thing to do. And thank you for offering that from your heart, because you also know how hard it is for caregivers to financially and physically. So thank you for sharing that and for sharing your story. And, and if you guys, we all put on weight with caregiving too. So Becky can help you lose the physical weight and lose the visible weight and lose the mental weight. So,
and by the way, I have a lot of fun doing these clean-a-thons, because I always say to people, if we're not having fun, we're not doing it right.
Yeah.
So if you get overwhelmed and think, oh my gosh, no, seriously, you'll have the time of your life and you'll be laughing and crying.
And what better way to do it when you have people around you that are positive? Because it's so easy to go into a negative space and fill that space with negativity. So having someone who's positive and focused, I just think it's a great idea. I love that you're doing that. And so I want to help promote that. And so please keep us informed, keep me informed. I'll put it up on our Facebook as well. And let me know when things are going on, because I just think that's amazing. And what a wonderful thing to share with our caregivers.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for what you do.
I think you are awesome. And I'm so glad you came on the show today and shared your story, but also shared some hope for caregivers. Again, you guys aren't alone. What a great resource you're proving to be, and what a great life coach you can be to a lot of the caregivers out there, and a true inspiration, really. Thank you, Becky.
Mahalo and aloha.
Aloha. Thanks, and have a wonderful day. I appreciate you coming on the show.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Wow, you guys, from the heart, Becky, thank you for sharing all of that with us. And caregivers, your story is so important. And you see, just hearing Becky's story is going to inspire you. Just think what your story is going to do to inspire somebody else. And even if it's a story that still doesn't have a happy ending yet, the fact that you're on this show or watching this show, listening to this podcast, that means that you want a happy ending and that you deserve that. So share your story, connect and heal with community. That's really what it's all about. And speaking of connecting, if you need a little more coaching on this Saturday, or this past Saturday, we had session 1, but this coming up Saturday, we have session 2, part 2 of the Tell Your Story workshop series. So stay tuned till the end. I'm going to talk more about that. Or you can just go online and register at gab808.org and tune in this Saturday for the workshop. It's all online. So, it's the Tell Your Story in 3 acts coming up. And you know what? In fact, I'll just go ahead and get that out of the way right now. This Saturday, 10 to 11:30, and Lonnie Elmons is going to be sharing Telling Your Story in 3 acts. So go to the website, get registered, because if you just need to register, it's free, but you register for the link so that you get the link. And if there are workshops, I usually email them out the day before. So workshops, if there are worksheets, I usually email them out the day before. So it's good for you to be registered and we get that information. And remember that, one attendee could win a Pamper cruise for 2. So you do have to attend both sessions, I know, but we're still going to have a special prize that will be for anyone who attended the session. And I'm not going to tell you what that is. You have to attend to find out. So our Pamper cruise winner is going to be selected from one of the 2 that was there this past week. And if they attend as well this next week. So, all right. Whew, lots of information. And, speaking of information, there's not enough out there for medical cannabis. And I know that a lot of you are curious and want to know. Some of you may already know. And some of you may just feel like I don't understand it, so I don't use it. But I know I have heard it's really good, but I don't know which one to get. And, I need it for this or I need it for that. You don't need to worry about that anymore. We're providing you with a resource today. And my next guest is a very important person. Oh, I need to take this off. There you go. Okay. There, now no, wrong one. Let's try this. There it is. And we're up there. Is a medical cannabis advisor from Noah Botanicals. And she is truly redefining cannabis as a natural choice for any community, but I believe especially for the caregiving community. Welcome to the show, Alexis Mueller. I'm sorry, Mueller. And I said it wrong again. See, I knew I would do it, didn't I? I told you that. So welcome to the show. I'm so happy to have you on, and please share your caregiving story and journey with us.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Savvy. I just feel so blessed to be here today. It was so wonderful meeting you the first time and just having that connection.
Yes.
for caregiving and medical cannabis. I think that I am a caregiver for my mom. My mom was recently diagnosed with kidney cancer. And so I stepped into the role of getting to take care of my mom. But prior to that, I would like to say that I'm a caregiver for caregivers. I've worked in the medical cannabis dispensary system for 4 years now at Noah Botanicals. And I think that it became really apparent during COVID, really how important our dispensary became to caregivers.
Yeah.
I started to just hear these stories of our caregivers, kind of pouring their hearts out, letting us know that I go to the grocery store and I come here once a week. And that's the only time that I'm getting out of the house. And I started hearing, these stories more and more.
Yeah.
And I really realized how important, medical cannabis was to the wellness of caregivers.
Yes.
And we kind of briefly had a discussion about that. And, but most importantly, what I really resonated with was the fact that we had created an environment that felt comfortable and happy, and that caregivers had a place that they could come and share their stories. I really believe that cannabis is community.
Yeah.
And there's such a stigma that surrounds cannabis that a lot of people really don't feel comfortable talking about it or telling anyone that they use it. And it kind of just, again, shelters a group of individuals, caregivers that are already being sheltered. So I really decided that there was something that had to be done about this.
Yeah. I agree.
Right?
I agree. It's a funny thing too. A lot of times, and I love that it's called Noah Botanicals, and it's very user friendly in that way, because I always felt like, oh God, I've got to go to a dispensary. That seemed like it added to the stigma of the word. It was like, I'm going to a dispensary. Oh, what are they dispensing? And it seemed such a sort of a scary place. I mean, but most of the people I've met, some of them, in all honesty, they've been wonderful. But it's getting in that front door. And then, you have to prove it. You have to go through this. So thing is like going through the TSA to get there. But I love that your name is called Noah Botanicals. And then meeting you as a person, you're so approachable. You're so kind, and your heart is really very evident to what you do. Your passions. And I said, I need to have you on the show. I need to have you talk to caregivers about what medical cannabis can do for a caregiver. I know we know it's for a lot of ailments, and my heart to you, by the way, for your mother. And please know that Give Me a Break is here for you. I'm here for you anytime you need it. But I know what that's like, and dealing with cancer is in my home as well. So we're here for you. But yeah, the caregivers need to understand that, they're always thinking about the one they care for and thinking, okay, well, what can I get for them? But here's something that maybe can affect you in a positive way. How can caregivers feel comfortable and put cannabis in their lives?
Well, I think that it first starts with understanding that, it is legal in the state of Hawaii. Medical cannabis is legal. At Noah Botanicals at noahcares.com, we do have a resource page where you can find a recommending provider in the state of Hawaii. So it's kind of starting there. You can also call and ask, I'm on this part of the island and I'm interested in getting my 329 card. And that's what it's called in Hawaii. And, once you get your 329 card, then at Noah Botanicals, I offer free one-on-one consultations to patients and caregivers in the store on Yonge Street. And then, my biggest, goal is to educate individuals about cannabis. Science really has started to kind of catch up a little bit with, and the how and the why cannabis, and just that information that's not available. And so I kind of made it a mission to use standardized education and to start to really break down that stigma. I met you at a Kapuna event. I also have been sitting at wellness and holistic markets. I give free seminars to, Rotary clubs, legislators, any group of individuals that's open and willing and wanting to learn about the how and the why behind cannabis and really where to get started. I just believe that what's going to break down the stigma is standardized education. And that's what we provide at Noah Botanicals. Not only have we opened up a retail location that dispenses medicine, but our staff is educated. I educate all of our staff. It's a comfortable and inviting place.
Yeah.
And it's a place where people can come and talk. All of our patients, they're our family. They're our Ohana. And cannabis is just one tool in your toolbox.
Right.
And today we had some powerful information on this podcast. And, I was kind of resonating with what Audrey had brought up with, practicing breathing, and how important breathing is for your nervous system. A lot of people don't know that cannabis acts on receptors in your central nervous system. Right. So it's helping us to, get a little bit more introspection into our processes of relaxation, into self-discovery. That would be you and pause, understanding who we are.
Right.
A lot of people aren't talking about the level of consciousness that cannabis can take us to, that helps us to heal, to relax, to release anxiety, and to really understand ourselves a lot deeper.
Right. And not in an addictive, destructive, pharmaceutical way. Right. And it's really interesting, like some of the things I didn't know and that I've learned are that there are different types. It's just like going into a market where there are all different kinds of lettuce. I mean, there's all different types of cannabis and they all have different uses and purposes. So I know I've had people who have said to me like, oh no, I tried once before and it just made me crazy. I got all jittery. And I thought to myself, but then you had the wrong thing. You had the wrong type or maybe the wrong plant or the wrong strain, because there are some that do give focus, some that give energy, some that give relaxation. And am I correct, right?
Yeah. And that's really what, I'm out to educate about, is that, cannabis is, multifactorial. It's made of hundreds of compounds and terpenes and polyphenols and flavonoids, and they're all synergistically working together, in our body, and that recognizing that our body is unique. And it's not just like an Advil, you take it and it binds with one receptor and, it gets rid of your headache. So it really is part of a journey of self-discovery. Cannabis use is really deep diving into ourselves, starting to look at ourselves a little bit deeper. It's a personal journey. And I think that's what makes it so special as a medicine. And you're absolutely right. There is different, we call them chemovars. There's different chemovars or strains of cannabis. Some are used, for rest and relaxation. Some are used for creativity. If you're decluttering your house or your mind. It's just one size fits all. It's definitely person specific and unique to each individual. And, that's what we're here to educate about. And,
and it's not about, and it's about dosage too, getting the dosage right. I mean, this isn't, oh boy, am I revealing here. This isn't high school when you're sitting behind the building and token down a joint of whatever anybody gave you and you got stoned out of your mind. And then they found you there, at the end of when the bell rang for the day of the school was over and you had a great nap. This isn't what that is. This is a whole different, it's medical cannabis.
Yes.
This has gone and it's a whole different thing. And this works with your body. It's a natural, wonderful way to find what your body needs to heal and to thrive, I think. And, for whatever stigma you attach to it in the past, we need to let those things go. The world is changing. And the fact that cannabis is looked at now as a healing plant and a healing herb and not, something to get stoned with anymore and roll a joint and be done with it. And if that's what you do, that's your preference, that's fine. But don't discount the fact that there's an avenue here for you to be able to find healing through a medicinal plant. And it's being seen that way. And I think that's something that I really hope people take, if anything, from our interview today.
Yes. And I didn't know how technical we could, get today, but
As much as you want. I told you can do anything on my show.
well, then we have to dive just a little bit deeper, into the fact and just, echo on what you said is that we are as human beings meant to use this plant as a medicine. Each mammal on this planet Earth has an endocannabinoid system, and we obviously don't have this endocannabinoid system in our body because of a plant. We have it in our body because it is constantly creating homeostasis in our body. And it's using what we would call endogenous cannabinoids. So, cannabinoids we make inside of our body already. And then you have a plant that also binds with the same receptors as your endogenous cannabinoids, helping to create balance and homeostasis in your body. So, science has really perpetuated us forward into recognizing that we are meant to use this plant as a medicine. It was put on this earth to be used as a tool in our wellness toolbox. Yeah. And again, the more education that everyone has, then the more that we can break down that stigma. Yeah. And open up. For me, it's about starting the conversation. That's what I'm here to do. You've listed, I'm at noahcares.com. You can make a consultation with me there. You've also listed my cell phone number. I'm really here to start that conversation. There's no questions that can't be asked. If you see me at a market or you're interested in having me come and do a presentation, it is all just open and free to the community. And again, we're just here to start that conversation and to break that stigma down.
Yeah. And go talk to Alexis. And, the thing is, everyone, is that we need to understand, our bodies are made up of so many things, and there's things that we're taking that are destroying our body. And there's things that we can take that can heal our body or even just bring balance, right? Yeah. It's kind of like I just learned about, like CoQ10, for instance. It's and people will go to the store and buy it by the jar or the bottle, and that's great. But the reason why they don't understand the reason why the doctor told them to take it, and it's because they have a high cholesterol and they're put on statins like pravastatin or something like that, and that blocks the production of the natural CoQ10 that you have in your body. Yeah. And so you have to supplement it. And so we're taking things, or we're eating things, or we're whatever we're doing to try and stay alive that might be blocking our natural production of the cannabinoids that we have in our body that we need to heal and be balanced. And yeah. So you wouldn't give a thought of it to take something like a supplement, but when it comes to cannabis, there's this stigma. Release that. If you need this for your body, for it to find that homeostasis, to find that balance that you need within you, then, and if you're not sure, talk to Alexis, call her, go on to their website, Noah Cares, NOAcares.com, or call her at 808-386-7425. And I'll say it one more time for those who are listening on podcasts. It's 808-386-7425, NOAcares.com. And of course, you all know that if you miss anything, just get a hold of me or get a hold of Give Me a Break. You know to do that. So yeah, anything else before we end your interview that I missed? But so much great information.
So blessed to have met you and have this opportunity to provide this information and to let more people know, to get out there and ask questions and to recognize, how really important it is to take care of yourself when you are a caregiver.
It was meant to be. All of the meetings I have are so meant to be and so meant to connect to caregivers. So thank you so much for making the time today and for coming on. And I'm so glad I got to meet you. And I look forward to having you at our expo next year. So we will have you there. All right. Well, thanks a lot, Alexis. And I really appreciate it. Have a great day. And thank you for all you do.
Thank you. Mahalo.
Aloha. Wow. See, you guys, look at that. We're just going to bring whatever resource you need to you. We are going to bring it here. It's going to come straight to you. Watch the show. You can always listen to us in podcast. I know you're listening. And so thank you for that. And caregivers, you're not alone. You are not alone. And you do have resources. And I will bring as many and diverse a resource to you as possible on this show. So Alexis, thank you. Mahalo for sharing your passion. I want to thank all of our guests and Audrey today. and remind you that the Caring Caregiver Show is brought to you by Give Me a Break, but also sponsored by Giver's Guides online magazine. And if you haven't gotten your issue of the Giver's Guides magazine, this is our October issue. We're anniversarying this issue, and so we have a whole new look, and we even have a new writer that's writing for us, Melinda Chinen, who you know and has been on, is a grief coach, and she writes an article in every issue, and her premiere article is in this October issue. So get your subscription, and it's $24.99, like I said, and know that profits go to Give Me a Break to help us do what we do. Subscribe today. Go to giversguides.com. Next week, we'll have an assisted living coach, Carlene Cadet Francois, and she's a coach to help you if you wanted to open your own assisted living. But because of that, she can tell you all that you need to know about assisted living. And this came out in the show today. It's so hard to make that placement. Everyone wants, I want to die in my own home. I want to stay in my own home and be cared for. And I support that. Everyone wanted, my own father wanted that. And that's what he got. My mother wanted that. And she didn't get it because she got to a level of care that I could no longer sustain. And it was one of the hardest things I had to do, was to place her. So I wish I had an assisted living coach like Carlene that I could have talked to at the time I went through what I did with my mother. And so she'll be on next week. She also wrote a book, a step-by-step guide on how to open an assisted living facility. And so she really does know the facts. And she will be on next week, along with one of our own writers and Giver's Guides. Danette Pernod is going to be on with Wellness Spoiled. She also has a book that's wonderful that she wrote about her husband's journey. And she calls it His Body, Our Amputation. And so she's got a great story to tell. And she's every month in our Giver's Guides has shared some amazing ways to use essential oils and recipes that we love so much. So really look forward to having her on the show and talking to her. You just don't want to miss any of that. So set a reminder next week and every week at 12 noon Hawaii Standard Time for the Caring Caregiver Show. It's okay if you miss us live. Don't worry. You can always check out our podcasts on Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, Google, any platform you use. Just search Caring Caregiver Show or go to the website, caringcaregivershow.com. And you can also watch these replayed on that show, as well as on any platform that you're watching it now, Facebook or LinkedIn, or even on our YouTube channel. And please keep those dollars coming for the Maui caregivers. We really appreciate all that you've done. And we're just asking for $1 a piece. And if all of you give us $1, we'll have enough to really make a difference for the caregivers in Maui. Hopefully next year, what we're planning to do is an outreach pamper session for them to help them to feel special and get what they deserve, which is a break away from the chaos. So your dollars are going to make a difference. Keep them coming. Thank you so much for all of you who have. And also, one last thing I don't want to forget, you have till the 25th, if you haven't already, to get your Christmas tree or wreath. And if you're getting a Christmas tree or wreath, yes, it's right around the corner. If Christmas is coming, and if you're getting a Christmas tree or wreath this year, please, please, please support two awesome charities. One, of course, Habilitat, who is amazing, and Give Me a Break. So you can order a Christmas tree right online now. Get your Christmas tree order. Just go to our website, gab808.org, and there's a button there to click. You need to do it before the 25th of this month. So you've got another week or two to do it. Get it ordered, and then you'll pick it up later so that it's fresh. So you're ordering it now. You're not buying it now. Don't worry that it's going to die before Christmas. You order your tree now. Go online and order that tree, and a portion of the proceeds helps Give Me a Break and supports us. And all you have to do is scroll and choose your charity as Give Me a Break. Now, maybe you have a fake tree and you don't want to buy one. Well, you could you could support another caregiver who's in need and who's lost their Christmas spirit, and get them a wreath or a tree. And all you have to do is select Hawaii Kai as the location and let us know by telling us that you donated a tree for a caregiver at info@gab808.org. And we'll pick up the tree and we'll deliver it to a caregiver and give them the Christmas spirit. So it isn't always about just us. You can pay it forward and do that as well. And if you have more questions, just go on to gab808.org and check out our website where you see all the instructions and what to do and how to do that for a caregiver. Whew, lots coming up, lots to do. Habilitat, by the way, is also working with us for our Thanks Caregiving dinners. And that's something that you get if you're entering the Caregiver of the Year contest. By entering the Caregiver of the Year contest, if you're one of the first 50, and we haven't hit 50 yet, so please, for you and your caree, you get a Thanks Caregiving dinner. And I'll talk more about that next week and tell you the whole story if you haven't heard it already. But it is only for the island of Oahu, so we don't have the resources to distribute it anywhere else. I apologize. But for those caregivers here on Oahu, please know that by entering our contest, you'll get your Thanks Caregiving dinner and have a moment with your caree. And I hope that helps you. And of course, you can always get connected in our support group, our support session that comes on every Tuesday evenings at 8 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time. Just join us. We're just a community of caregivers just like you. I hope you enjoyed the show today. It was really awesome. I did. And I love sharing information with all of you. So in the meantime, remember, breathe. Do what Audrey told us to do and take that mindful moment. Here's hoping that you're finding more joy in caregiving every week here on the Caring Caregiver Show. Thanks for tuning in. And please remember, be kind to caregivers, and caregivers, be kind to you. Thank you to all of those who are caring. Aloha, everyone. Have a great day. See you next week.